Hey guys, my name is Jimmy Shaw's Tidbits. Today we're going to unbox the Geeetech MeCreator2. This is a printer that I've been looking forward to trying out for a long time now, and I contacted them a while back and they were gracious enough to give me a pretty good deal on it, just so I could use it on my channel. And so I'm going to go ahead and get this unboxed. We're going to try doing a first print and just see how it goes. So let's go ahead and get it unboxed. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut it from the bottom here so that I don't have to take everything out the top. There we go. I'm used to opening boxes like this at work. Makes it a lot easier to get the box off. And there we go. Okay, so inside here we have a owner's manual, and a lot of theirs is online. If you buy one, you definitely want to go to the website and download the owner's manual from on there. It's just kind of a quick start guide. So what we're going to do now, looks like it is fully packaged with the styrofoam. Got a little bit of filament here. Just drop that down there for now. It's going to have this painter's tape that's going to be going onto the build plate. I do have some build tack I'll end up putting on there eventually, but for today we're just going to go ahead and go with that. Let's take a look here. As you can see, this is a fully built 3D printer. There's no assembly required on this. From what I understand, it's just a matter of leveling the bed and you're good to go. So we're going to see if that actually works out that way. Let's take all the rest of this packing material out. It looks like they already did a test print on it, which is great. We got some zip ties there we're going to take loose. Okay. I do see a wire here that is loose, so I'll find out where that's supposed to be plugged in. Okay, so what we have here is a fully sealed unit. Instead of having the power supply on the back of it or the side of it like they've had in the past, this one's totally enclosed. The power supply, the circuit board is all inside the base of it. You have the LCD screen up here, you have your dial, and you have a SD card reader here on the side. That way you don't have to have it hooked up to your computer doing it with a cord. On the back here, you have your place for your power cord, you have your power switch, USB cord, and I believe this is where the extruder is going to plug in. There we go. Okay, and right here they did include the power cord, zip tied right there. We'll go ahead and start taking some of these zip ties off of it. Should have got me some wire cutters. That's alright. Now, one thing that is different on this unit compared to my old one, this one is actually 24 volt instead of 12 volt. So I've got to keep that in mind in case I need to try doing any alterations on fans or anything like that. I'll have to verify what style fan is needed. This one's a little bit tougher to get to. There we go. Okay. Oh, one more zip tie. There's another package that's on the inside here. We'll go ahead and get that cut loose. There we go. Let's go ahead and turn this around here. I'm interested to see what's inside the package here. They really got that wrapped up. It's almost like Christmas, isn't it? Okay, this is going to be the spool holder, which actually I already have one all set up, so I'll bring that out here in a little bit. So I have here a sample piece of filament. We have our USB cord. Sorry about that, my camera died. I forgot to charge the battery since the air show last week. So luckily I had a second battery. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and plug this in, power it on, make sure everything's functioning correctly. I did already go into Cura. I set it up for this printer, and so I already took and downloaded my favorite little thing to print for my first printer, that little Marvin. So I'm going to go ahead and try printing one of those. I got down, sized it down a little bit, so it should be like a 10-minute print, so it won't take very long. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. Okay, power is on. I'm going to just turn this to the side here so I can see it a little bit. Perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select prepare, and let's go ahead and move axis, and we're going to move 1 millimeter, and we're going to move Z. There we go. Okay, so what it is, since it's just started up, it's not homed correctly, and so all I just need to do is just get it up high enough so I can pull that piece out. What I'm going to do is pull this print that's currently on the build plate off. Actually, it looks like it did a pretty good print. Put that down there for the moment. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to auto home. So what we're going to do is we're going to select prepare, and we're going to select auto home. It's going to bring the extruder over here. It's going to take the extruder to the back. It homes in a whole different position from what I'm used to. Now, I have heard that sometimes these rods can be a little bit tight back here, so I'm probably going to have to lubricate these. So I did give it a little bit of help right there at the beginning, and now it's moving perfectly fine. So I am going to lubricate the rods, and I'll check them eventually to just make sure they're actually completely even, just to be on the safe side. But it looks good now. From what I can tell, it looks like the stepper motor the shaft, it doesn't have a collar on it. It doesn't have that coupler. So it looks like it's running really smooth, really even. No wobble to it. So hopefully I won't have to deal with Z-wobble on this one. One thing that is cool about it is it does have a cooling fan down here, so that will help cool both the board and the power supply. That's going to be really nice. Okay, so it looks like we are homed. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take and check it to make sure that everything is leveled on the bed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go over here to the screen, go down to prepare. We're going to disable the steppers. And then just take a sheet of paper. We're going to place it underneath the nozzle here. And there's a little bit of drag there, so we're good there. We're good there. We are a little bit tight there, so we're going to tighten that just a hair. There we go. And now move it to the back. Just going to go ahead and tighten that a little bit. I think we're going to be good there. It's pretty close. Okay, so that's pretty much the setup on this. Now let's see if we can print something on it. Like I said, I did take an SD card. I preloaded it. See if I can get this into the right direction the first time. Of course I don't. So you'll take your SD card with your electrical contacts facing toward the front. Place it inside there. You'll want to press your button. Let's go ahead and go to prepare. And let's go to preheat PLA. That's going to start that heating up. In the meantime, it's a little something I printed up this morning for it on my other printer. And what I'll probably end up doing is taking a bit more of the Teflon tubing, or run a tube actually coming out, and maybe somehow attach it to the printer itself, make it where it'll be easier to run it in. Let's see, it looks like, oh yeah, they got filament in it. So what we're going to go do is going to let this heat up, and we'll get that filament pulled out. Okay, so I got the unit preheating. Turns out that there's actually another little setting now. You have to go into it, select preheat PLA, and then select PLA1 or a customized setting. So now it's heating up, and as soon as it's heated up to, it's going to say 180, we're going to probably heat up to about 190, and then we'll pull that filament out. One thing I do want to point out on this model is that it does have a blower that actually has cooling down around the nozzle, so that is going to be really nice. I don't have to worry about having any extra cooling fans or anything like that I'm going to have to worry about with this model. It's completely ready out of the box. Okay, so don't be surprised whenever you get one of these printers, especially when it's come this far from China, if some of the bolts don't loosen up. I did have a situation where up in here, two of the bolts loosened up on the extruder. I thought I was doing it on camera, but the camera timed out on me. But you do have to loosen up the bolt here in the front and the bolt here on the back of this fan shroud. That drops right down. That gives you access to the two bolts going up to the extruder. Tighten them up a little bit, and now everything's nice and rigid. We should be good to go. I am going to go ahead and home it one more time once I get the filament fed in. Yeah, there we go. Once I get the filament fed into here, then I will go ahead and re-home it. Okay, as you can see, the filament is starting to drop out. And see how it's coming down pretty smooth? You don't see any curling or anything like that. That means there's no blockage in that that nozzle, so we should be good to go. Okay, so now let's go ahead and rehome it. We're going to make absolutely sure that by making that one adjustment that it didn't throw things off. So I'm going to prepare, auto home. I can't get used to it actually homing on the build plate because mine always homes off to this corner off the build plate. Okay, so let's run a piece of paper through there one more time. I just want just a quick little test on it, just make sure it's not really hard up against it, and it's all right. So we're going to be good. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and print from the SD card. Actually, let me come around here to the front of it. Okay, so from the panel here, you'll press it. You'll move down to print from SD. Oh, by the way, it's got LED lights. Isn't that cool? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go to print from SD. And we are going to move down. I got all these different files on here, but let's find the one that's for the Marvin. Okay, let's try this one and see if this is the right file. Yep, that's going to be the right file because I did 198 degrees, so I know that's the right one. Okay, so there's a little bit of filament up there on the nozzle that I didn't clean off. I should have cleaned it off before it started printing. But so far it looks like it's doing all right. So while that's printing, let's go over some of the specs on this. So this one is going to have a build volume of 160 by 160 by 160 millimeters. The print resolution goes all the way to 0.05 millimeters. That's insane. Print speeds between 60 and 80 millimeters per second. Of course, it uses the 1.5 millimeter filament. It comes with a 0.4 millimeter nozzle. It can do ABS, PLA, flexible PLA, and wood polymer. I'm sure you'd have to use a different nozzle if you're going to be using the wood. And then some of them that have the really abrasive filament that it would mess it up, like carbon fiber. But other than that, the way that the nozzle throat is set up on these MK8 extruders, I can tell you for a fact that they're pretty decent. Okay, and it says to use repetitive host. I don't. I use Cura, and it seems like it's printing all right. Like I said, I took this Marvin and I actually scaled it down so it'll print in about 10 minutes. So, as you can see, it moves pretty fast. I do have it set, I believe, at 70 millimeters per second for the fastest speed. Just for this first print, I just wanted to see how that worked out. But so far, it seems like it's doing all right. The build plate gets up to 110 degrees Celsius. The maximum extruder temperature is 240 Celsius. It uses 110 volts, 220 volts, or 360 watts. Power output is 24 volt DC at 15 amps. And of course, it's got the USB, the CD card, for standalone printing, which is what I always do. My previous printer, I never hooked it up to a computer. I just always do it with the SD card. That way you don't have to worry about Windows updating and crashing your printer. So that's just the way I've always done it, and it's always the way I will do it. I will never ever try getting a printer that doesn't use an SD card. And so far the quality of it seems to be all right. Okay, let's see if there's anything else in here that we need to know. Okay, the actual dimensions of the unit is 320 by 320 by 360 millimeters. That's the actual physical dimensions of it, and it weighs 9.05 kilograms. Okay, now we're coming to the moment of truth. This is where the cooling fan will either prove it's working or it's not. It's doing the hoop just fine. Nice. I just got to do some tweaking on the settings, and I think it's going to do just fine. I just need to slow down the print. I think it'll be just fine. Okay guys, so that took 9 minutes to print, and it looks like it turned out all right. Let's go ahead and pull it off the build plate here. On camera it looks rougher than it really is. Now of course I did have that filament that was stuck to the nozzle whenever it started printing, because I chose the wrong file at the very beginning of it. Let's take it up here and see how it looks. You can see it did not turn out half bad. Not for a first print. And for a small model that was scaled down, for a model that was scaled down too. As you can see, the hoop printed just fine. As you can see, the hoop printed just fine on it. Okay guys, so there you have it. I don't know if you can hear it with the microphone. That little fan on it is a very loud fan, but at the same time it's cooling, and that's the most important part when it comes to this printer. Yeah, it's pretty loud. But anyway, it seemed like it printed pretty good. I'm going to definitely be using it, definitely be doing some tweaking on it. The main reason why I wanted a printer like this is so if something happens to my printer, the Geeetech i3, I'll have a backup, and that way I'm not able to make videos and you know, kind of mess up my timing and everything like that. I can definitely get videos put out on time, you know, one way or another. The other thing is too, if I travel, I can take this printer with me. It is solid. I mean, this thing, you cannot tweak it. It's there. And that's what I liked about this model when I saw it. When I first saw that they came out, I believe it was about 6 months ago, I saw the YouTube video from Geeetech. I really wanted it. So I'm really glad I did get it. I think it's going to be very nice. I am going to put build tack on the build plate and give that a shot. I've never used build tack before, so it's going to be my first time using it. And of course I'll do videos on both printers. This is not going to take an effect of how I do videos with my other printer. I love that printer. That's my first printer, and I'm always going to be partial to that printer. But at the same time, I love the style of this printer because I've seen so many videos recorded with this style where it drops down that just looks smooth. You don't have that build plate moving back and forth and really messing with your eyes when you're watching it. The time lapses on this type of printer, I think, look a whole lot better. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. Just first opinions on it. The only thing I saw that was a problem was the extruder being loose and having to tighten those bolts. That's the only thing that I have found with it since I got it that was an issue, which just took a few minutes to get to it and straighten it out. So if you get one, definitely right out of the box, check your nuts and bolts and make sure everything's tightened up. If anything's loosened up, definitely tighten it up. You will need to get an Allen wrench set that's a metric and has all the smaller sizes. Your standard Allen wrenches will not fit this machine, I guarantee that. Other than that, I'm really happy that the electronics are enclosed. I don't have to worry about a fire danger with it. I don't have to worry about the exposed wires. That's one thing I'm guilty of with my existing printer, is I never straighten the wires out. And I really regret that I didn't do that, but at the same time, I've been so busy doing other things I just haven't had a chance to. If you like this style video, please give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below. This is my first time trying to do an unboxing this way. I'll put a link right up here to my first unboxing, which I was completely behind the camera, and that's how I normally do. I'm not used to being in front of a camera, to be honest with you. But it's definitely something that if everybody likes it, I'll definitely give it a shot. And that's about it. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you like my channel, please subscribe. I sure appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Thank you very much. Have a great day and take care. Bye.